This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, with every last one of the homies with us today.
We got a full bench.
And I only got a third of it.
Do we have a third?
Someone else takes up the whole other 2/3 of the bench.
Yikes. Marital bliss in the Harper household.
I have nothing to do with that.
Marital bliss. Today is Tuesday, June 27th, and we are a day late this week, but good news is Mr. Squirrel Jim has recovered from his oral surgery.
Oral.
Oh, no.
As a reminder for any new listeners, I am Muff, person who steers this rudderless ship, joined by the Ohio Homer, the Ohio Degenerate, the capo of the Midwest Kraken fan club, Jim.
The capo of the Midwest Crack House.
Bingo. We also have the medical degenerate, the degenerate of all things medicinal, maybe even the fun things. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers may have something to say about that.
Oh,
Alex?
listen.
That's me.
And lastly, but sure not least, we have the Harper household comprised of the guru of officiating, the man not behind the line of scrimmage, but behind the defensive side of the ball, Nate.
That's correct. We are officially less than 2 months from game one.
Ooh, game one is in Ohio, correct?
Correct.
And also in the Harper household, the guru of glitter, the person not making the bags in the background tonight to disrupt the podcast, Sam.
Hi.
Go ahead and plug it. Plug it, Harper and Company, Sam. Tell people how they can get the bags, do the things.
Harper & Co. is on Facebook, Instagram, and Etsy at Harper & Co. WV. If you look at my Etsy or my Facebook and there's something that you don't see that you want, let me know because I suck at updating things.
What about hats?
I do hats.
You do hats?
I do hats.
You shit in hats? Shh.
I'm telling you.
Do hats.
You're just shitting out hats left and right. Be a good day. Good
We are
day.
juveniles.
Well,
Or
Jim.
buffoons. We're buffoons, right?
We
Muff?
are four buffoons, according to a YouTube commenter, about the Big Ten talk that I had to bring to Jim's attention, and Jim very quickly popped into those comments, and we have yet to hear a response yet.
I'm sorry. Like, you want to say that we are buffoons when we talk any other sport. You want to say we're buffoons, talk about the NFL. But don't you come at us about the Big Ten. No, sir.
Big Ten is pretty much where this podcast started, Big Ten football.
Yeah. Get off us.
We have a long track record, a long history, and a lot of discussion to back this one up.
Yeah. You don't swing at us.
Yeah. Jim, since you wanted to, I think, interject when I was introducing Alex, Aaron Rodgers was a participant in something that you wanted to bring to the discussion today.
He was at a conference for the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies advocating for the legalization of psychedelics.
Okay. I had to make a slight interjection here. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I've always been like, I don't understand the whole psychedelics craze and the microdosing craze, and I still don't really understand like the science behind it. But there are like a lot of people out there that are like, yeah, there's zero side effects. And it really helps people get through like PTSD and things like that. Now that doesn't come back to why Aaron Rodgers needs it necessarily, but like I guess like some people that like combat veterans use it for PTSD, and it lets you like relive your terrors in like a safe place because you're like hallucinating about them, but you're actually just sitting on a couch and then process them. And like apparently people are having like remarkable success. So
And I'm
not
happy for that, but who says that you're staying on the couch?
Well, you do it in a controlled environment, like with a.
I'm sorry. Who says it's controlled?
What do you think is uncontrolled, Jim? Let's start there.
Like me doing it on the couch at a rave in, Las Vegas is uncontrolled. Me doing it with a psychotherapist on a couch in a medical building is controlled.
Buddy, you live
We're traveling to South America.
Virginia. You live in the state of West Virginia.
Proud of
the
it.
Guns per capita.
Yep.
Probably pretty high.
Well,
okay? And if we're gonna call that controlled,
I didn't say it was West Virginia.
I'm just saying let's just legalize it where in the United States, we have how many pew-pews? And
You don't have to
school
legalize it on the street. You could legalize it for use as a treatment. So you have to
So,
go to a facility
in
to
the
get it.
facility. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What
All
did
right.
you
Sure,
think
I
Alex
get-
just outlined there?
Like ketamine is not
He
legal.
said on your
Ketamine
couch,
is a
Muff.
I think Alex was saying like you go to therapy, and Alex was likening it to a psychiatrist
therapist
appointment
couch.
or a therapist couch, a
Yeah.
controlled setting being, hey,
Okay.
I'm with a professional who's
I
helping
just
guide
thought,
me
like-
through this trip.
I thought like on my couch at home is what he was saying. I was like, no, that's not controlled.
So like you get like some propofol
yeah.
and you get it at the hospital to make you go to sleep. You get propofol at home, you end up like Michael Jackson. So you go to hospital to take scary drug.
I understand. That adds up. That computes. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yes.
I agree with your consensus now. Now
But
that
I
you
still think it's
clarified
funny.
where the couch is.
But then there's Aaron Rodgers, and I would like to know if he's just taking it because he's a hippie, or if
I
he
think
needs
that
help.
answer is yes.
Like,
Is he though?
is he taking it for fun, or is he taking it because he thinks it helps?
Well, no, he says it's ironic that the things that actually expand your mind are illegal, and the things that keep you in lower chakras and dumb you down have been legal for centuries.
See, that makes
would
me
lead
feel like
me
we're
to
doing
believe
it
that
like
he's a hippie.
hippie psychedelic.
Right.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think he's referring to like alcohol, right? Hey, you
You're
can
right,
go
Muff.
get,
We
you can
got
go
all
get
that. I'm
boozed
talking
up.
about the terminology. The terminology he uses leads one to believe he is of the hippie mind frame.
Well, and I think, he's had 2 MVP seasons after going on an ayahuasca journey.
There's like ayahuasca churches and stuff, and they use it for like religious experiences.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm
what
not
changed it.
knocking the hippie or the opening of the mind with illegal drugs. What I am knocking is Aaron Rodgers.
That's true. I think that's
Because
true.
Because like I don't believe this man to be the poster child for that movement.
so is Joe Rogan.
Absolutely not. That's
Okay.
another one. Like those two in the same bag. Just no.
Even though
No.
Aaron Rodgers has said there's other NFL players, not I'm saying that makes the other NFL players poster children for this, but other NFL players have like gone to South America and done the ayahuasca journey that he went on.
But none of them claim to be. None of them are at the hilltop screaming, "Hey, let's do shrooms."
Probably because they're lower men on the totem pole in the NFL roster don't want to get cut.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I just don't think they want to put their business out there. This is a long opening.
He's a modern day Bill Walton.
See, that's what I didn't want you to do, and that's what pisses me off. He is not a modern day Bill Walton.
No,
Stop.
but Bill Walton is very much a social change human who just happened to have like a hippie mindset.
This guy just likes his drugs.
I mean, he's advocating for certain things to be illegal that aren't, but to what end, I don't know. Right? It's time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Time to move on. The Pittsburgh Pirates went from tripping out to just straight tripping. Pirates are 35-42, having lost 12 of their last 13, and have had to place Brian Reynolds, the guy who they signed to a huge extension early in the year, to the injured list. The offense has been struggling. Have only scored 27 runs over the last 13 games.
In this, Jim,
Yeah. They sit 5.5 games out of first place.
this is
Can we
it.
talk about this for a second? Just a split second.
Well, we're going to talk about
Have
for
we
a couple
noticed
seconds.
how Cincinnati was dog shit, Pittsburgh was up, and then they switched?
Yes. Yes, Jim, we have noticed.
We noticed that tends to be a thing, and at the end of the year, they both suck.
Yeah, but the whole division sucks this
This
year.
is why we don't get excited.
Hey, you made it almost halfway through the summer.
Almost. I am personally going to put this out there. I'm going to blame Taylor Swift.
I
Let's
agree.
go, Muff. Let's go.
Taylor Swift comes to Pittsburgh, so the team has to go on a road trip to accommodate Taylor Swift coming to be an entertainer, doing these big things. That's whenever, it's when things started to go downhill. Bobby Huggins has something to be pissed about Taylor Swift for. WVU has something to be pissed about Taylor Swift for. Pirates fans have something to be pissed about Taylor Swift for. Taylor Swift's ruining sports in Pittsburgh and in this area.
That's my girl.
Sam, I'm sorry.
yeah,
but
you're
Taylor
wrong,
has
Sam.
done it. Dave
I think
Matthews
Taylor
tried.
Swift.
Dave Matthews tried. He came into Pittsburgh last Friday. The Pittsburgh wins. The Pirates win on Friday, even though they're not playing in Pittsburgh. But that's the only game they win. They will lose the rest of the series of that weekend. Dave Matthews can't even get him back on the right track. Taylor Swift has ruined Pittsburgh.
So how do we reverse the curse?
Ed Sheeran's coming in a couple weeks. Maybe he can.
That
fix
is
it.
not reversing the curse. I don't know what reverses Taylor Swift, but it's not Ed Sheeran.
Well,
No, that just amplifies it.
I don't know what we need. We need Jim. We need Saving Jane. We
I think
go
Dave
back to
Matthews.
stage AE.
I think Dave Matthews put a calming vibe over the city, and we will see a return to peace.
We need to hit that freaking Allman Brothers button. Is what we need to do.
You're right. Now, I mean, the Allman Brothers aren't around, like, alive, but we need something.
We need something. We need to burn one down. That's what
We-
needs to happen. Ugh.
Get it, Muff.
I don't
Yeah.
know. In addition to Taylor Swift, I think this says a lot about the Pirates and what they haven't been able to do since not 73, but in this modern era. The Pirates have also the longest streak of not having a 40 home run hitter, dating back to 1973. The next longest drought in Major League Baseball is 2004 with the San Francisco Giants.
I mean,
Giants?
The Giants.
You-
It's 50 years compared to 19.
you
The
got
next
Guns N'
longest drought.
Guns N' Roses in August.
It's too late.
I know.
It's too late.
I mean, Morgan Wallen in August.
Yeah,
I think August is the only thing apparently that's going to change this.
You're
Kenny
in for a
Chesney's not
long
coming back,
July.
is
You guys banned him, I thought.
he? That's true.
after the city became trashed.
No, all these people are coming in.
But really isn't his fault.
What's that, Nate?
Said all these people coming in August to kick off football season.
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to kick off football season. The Pirates are like, let's play good again when we're 20 games out. There's some positive Pittsburgh sports news, though. The Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Maulers of the USFL have made it to the championship game despite having a losing record. I
You got
think all
Foreigner.
teams.
Foreigner's playing out at Star Lake.
Jukebox hero.
That's
You got Eric
that-
Church on July 4th out at Star Lake.
okay. Eric Church will reverse this curse.
Eric Church is July 8th.
That's what I just said, homie.
I thought you said July.
You did say July 4th. I will vouch.
All right.
But the
fine.
Pittsburgh Maulers are playing the Birmingham Stallions this Saturday in the USFL championship game.
That's not going to help us reverse the curse.
But if the Maulers win a championship, maybe that'll do it.
You know what we need to do?
Bring a title to Pittsburgh. We didn't think it'd be this way.
Titletown, USFL.
We need to promote John Mayer.
Is he playing?
What? With Ed Sheeran.
No, John
was-
Mayer is an ex-boyfriend of Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
One
Invite
one of them. Who's the other ones?
We need to invite John Mayer to Pittsburgh to reverse the curse.
But also, like, Ed Sheeran has done songs with her, so I think that he,
That
Did he
makes
break-
it worse.
Did he break up with her?
he doesn't do them with her anymore.
I feel like he would.
They need to have been dating and cut it. He's done. If he doesn't have an album about him by Taylor Swift, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Well, John Mayer might be your guy then.
That's it. Put this out in the stratosphere. John Mayer is at Pittsburgh. I don't care where you do a concert. Go into some raucous bar on the south side. Go down Carson Street.
Little Smalls or something like that. Mr. Smalls.
Mr. Smalls, the little theater.
Yeah, do it there.
Bingo.
I mean, either that or we're looking for a Jonas brother.
They're coming in September.
That's
Oh, that's
too far.
Too far away.
Well,
Right.
John Mayer is only touring in Europe right now, so
She dated Loki,
Did who?
the guy who plays Loki from the
Oh.
Avengers.
I thought that's what you meant, but that's like, is there something else I should be aware of here?
she's had 12 boyfriends, so I'm sure you guys can find something.
She's had more than 12. She's had 17.
Well, I'm on Google and it says 12.
I'm on Google as well, and I'm looking at 17.
Well, that's from 2017.
This is a goddamn sports podcast. Let's move the fuck on.
Alex.
You're the one that brought it up.
a sports related situation. Alex, how are you feeling about the new men's basketball coach at WVU, Josh Allen?
I was trying to be positive. This guy's been around the program since 2007. I was like, you know what? The guys are gonna stay. They're gonna stay with him. It's not Bob Huggins, but it's a guy they know. It's part of a small part, but it's part of the reason that they came to WVU. He has a hand in recruiting, and then the exodus started today, and now I'm not feeling so hot about it. But it's nothing to do with him personally. It's the situation in general. I think no matter who came in, unless you got some huge big name, these guys would be doing this. They came in to play for Bob Huggins, the legendary Bob Huggins. Whether you like him or not, he's a legendary basketball coach. And
Legendary at the bar.
Josh Eilert. And I think it's fair. I think it's fair to give this guy a chance. He's been around, like I said, since 2007. He came to West Virginia with Bob Huggins from Kansas State. So give him a chance.
As a DD.
See what he can. This is my time, Jim, not yours. You shut up. So we saw some exodus of some more better players today. James Okonkwo for one, but we'll see where it lands.
Didn't you save Kirk Carissa or whatever?
What?
The guy from Kansas that came from Kansas. Didn't he save somebody from leaving?
Yeah, the guy you're talking about, I think he's from Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah. Okay. For some reason, I thought Kansas. I was wrong.
Yeah. So he kept a little bit of the group together. We'll see how he does as a head coach. Good luck.
Okay. So we're gonna get some football news, but first, big
Wait.
topic. What?
Oh, sorry. I had one more Bob Huggins thought that popped in my head.
Just toss it out because after this week we can't talk about him anymore.
I know. Okay. I saw a post online that
had to be true.
I know. No, it was more of an opinion thing, and people were ripping the university and Gordon Gee for basically forcing him to resign. Like that, they didn't show him any respect and blah, blah, blah. And my thought is, he didn't show the program respect when he continually got in trouble, knowing that this was going to be the end result if he didn't straighten up his act. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have problems that need addressed, and like he needs support and he needs to get himself better. But that doesn't mean we should continue to let him reflect poorly on the university and continue to be allowed to do whatever he wants and keep his job. I was all for the fact that he had to resign. I'm sad about it. I wish he would have made better choices in life. I didn't want to see him go, but he had to go when he made another giant error in life. But I saw people genuinely, like people I didn't expect, like, wow, I can't believe you fire a guy for getting a DUI. Like he has a problem and we need to be there to support him as a family. And I'm like, he does need support. I agree. And I'm all about supporting him, but not as continuing to be the head basketball coach and representative of the university. You have not. What if he has been in trouble with alcohol for how long? If he does need support, but he didn't try to get support when he had his first issue and his second issue and his third issue and his fourth issue. It's like you can only let a guy get so far, and then it's time to cut the leash.
The leash has been cut, and Gordon Gee is slashing the budget elsewhere. University.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. So that really doesn't involve sports, but
nope. Just know there's other bigger things happening at WVU at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. So football. Before we get into football, let's talk about a battle, not in the gridiron, but potentially in the octagon, as Dana White shares that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg wanting to get into the cave.
So breaking news.
Breaking.
Apparently, Elon Musk's mom said no. I just saw this on Twitter. I just saw this on Twitter, and I'm trying to go back and find it really quick right now. But yeah, and I don't know if it's true or not, but someone tweeted, and the headline was, "The fight has been canceled. Elon Musk's mother pulls the plug on Dana White's UFC plan for her son and Mark Zuckerberg."
That's all I got. The biggest fight ever in the history of the world.
Maybe it's not, but it made me a joke on Twitter. This may just be like a Jim, something he found on TikTok, but me finding it on Twitter. But I just happened upon it, and I thought it was very funny if his mom was really like, "No, you're not fighting."
Question is, do we want to see this?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Two dummies beat crap out of each
other. Or do I want to pay money for it? Those are two big questions.
Do you want to see it? Because if you want to see it enough, you'll pay the money.
No.
That's a good point.
No.
No.
You
It
want to see
depends.
it?
Is it $20? For $20, I might bet.
It'll be 100.
Would not put money
They're
to see
good.
this.
They're gonna make this into a whole thing, and they're gonna try to have a semi-legit undercard to lead up to this just buffoonery.
A Paul brother will be on this card. I don't want to see it.
This has been perfect for the Paul Diaz fight to be on this card. That
It's
would
not
actually
worth my
potentially be
time.
hilarious.
The
It's
memes
not-
from this are hilarious. I'll give it that. I also can't find any more supporting, so the fight might still be on, and that was probably just something I saw that was.
I mean, he's like a 3-time black belt in jiu-jitsu, right? He's got championships. Gi no gi championships. Okay, nobody wants to talk about it.
I just
know.
think Elon Musk's in his ass beat by the lizard. That should be his fighting nickname, the lizard.
The lizard. All right, so all of this has been leading up to some also not great news. New England Patriots second-year cornerback Jack Jones was arrested 2 Fridays ago after taking 2 firearms that were found in his travel bag, his carry-on bag at Boston's Logan Airport, according to the Massachusetts State Police. Jones was charged with 2 counts of the following offenses: possession of a concealed weapon in a secure area of the airport, possession of ammunition without a firearm ID card, unlawful possession of a firearm, and carrying a loaded firearm and possession of a large capacity feeding device. This could be interesting of how this all plays out in the NFL world. Obviously, in the NBA, we had John Morant, different situations, not in an airport,
And, not comparable at all.
No, and this
but
guy,
involving firearms. That's what I'm getting at here.
I think that this guy I listened to someone unrelated to sports talk about this, and I don't know the truth behind it, but I guess like the argument, he's like, oh yeah, like I didn't know it was in there. We all know that you could have something small in your bag and not realize it was in there, and it could cause you problems.
Oh, it can cause you a lot
However-
of problems, especially if you're trying to get back to the United States from Mexico.
Yes, especially then.
Anybody who's not heard this story, maybe another time, but let's just say that I had a bullet in a bag and it caused me some issues.
But but this guy having you notice if there's a loaded firearm and a large capacity feeding device in your bag, it's going to add some weight beyond your underwear and your night shorts. I mean, I firmly believe that that's something like you don't accidentally have a firearm. Like this being an accident is a lot less believable than, oh, I had some shotgun shells from an old hunting trip in a small pocket of this bag that I use for all my travel.
Sure.
Sorry, it's like for that to be an accident, it makes me think. I wonder, did he think he was above the law because he's in the NFL? Did he think like they won't stop me? I'm an NFL player, or does he have an issue?
I don't know. I think he thought, oh crap, once they stopped him, what's in there, whether he knew it or he did not know it. I think he had a no shit moment as soon as he got pulled aside.
Yeah.
The NFL, the precedent, I'm not sure if they'll have to compare or tangle with, but it was in Roger Goodell's tenure, is Frank Clark of the Chiefs in 2021. He was pulled over twice in a 3-month span on the road. Once he had an Uzi. Both times they found weapons in his car that turned out to be unregistered. Clark was suspended a total of 2 games, but that was not until 6 weeks after the incidents because he pled no contest to charges, and the league suspended him under the personal conduct policy.
So where do you rank, just in the nature of today's post 9/11 world, where do you put having a loaded gun on a plane with other people trapped with no way to get out above having an unregistered weapon in your car by yourself? Is there to you a difference in those situations? What kind of damage can you do if you get in the air with a loaded gun and the people around you have no idea and no way to defend themselves at that point versus being pulled over and having an unregistered gun in your car? Do you see those as 2 separate things? Do you see those as 2 events that you can look at with different consequences?
I don't
Yes.
look at it at all.
Because I think one's a felony.
unregistered weapons, there's state laws that like you don't have to register shit anymore.
But well, that's what I'm saying. I would say that trying to take a loaded gun on an airplane, I would argue, is more severe than having a unregistered weapon in your car.
I would agree with that.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the
that's
minimum,
what I'm saying.
there's a potential minimum of like 2.5 years
Yeah.
for Jones, who's pled not
I
guilty.
think it might be a mandatory minimum.
Yeah, it is.
But I think if it's in his bag, or is it like, where is the gun located?
I think it was a carry-on, wasn't it?
It was in a carry-on luggage. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
so he's
right.
going to have
Well,
it in
then-
that compartment with people.
Yeah, old boy messed up.
Yeah. His next court date, or his court date, is not until August 18th. So that's going to be like, a couple weeks before the season starts. So this may be resolved prior to the season even starting, and there won't be he's playing, but what's going to happen? But yeah, old buddy messed up, and something's going to happen. Whether the league's going to probably do something, I don't know if they can not like suspend him for a game or two unless he's found totally innocent of all charges, which seems to be pretty difficult in this one. Like unless he can prove that somebody gave him the bag and he didn't know, but either way, it's still in his
It's
possession
the summertime. We're not going to hear about this. This will fade away,
until August,
and he's just
until
gonna
the
be
court
out.
date. So
This will get washed away.
until August, it'll come back up then.
Yeah, and then even then, it's not going to be a big highlight of our day.
No, but I agree. I mean, it may be if he's found guilty and suspended and kicked off the team, it'll be, the
Yeah,
day.
but that's not going to happen. He ain't getting kicked off the team.
He might be in prison for 2.5 years.
If he's in prison for 2.5 years, I bet he gets kicked off the team. Jim.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be negotiated. He'll get a fine and a slap on the wrist.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how serious it is to do things in airports. Then that's really what this is going to come down to: is what type of precedent we setting here. In Buffalo, Bills wide receiver Stephon Diggs is frustrated that he restructured his deal, presumably to get DeAndre Hopkins to Buffalo. And not only has this not happened yet, but they don't seem to be even in the top of the conversations with DeAndre Hopkins. The assumption is that this is why he wasn't a participant in one of their training days a couple weeks ago that led to concerning statements from McDermott and the Bills organization. If Hopkins does not end up in Buffalo, is Diggs going to be playing like a mopey boy all season?
No,
At
That
first,
man's a
maybe all
professional.
season now.
that man's a professional. He'll be fine.
Good. Have we heard anything new about DeAndre Hopkins? I mean, it seems like this is maybe one of those stories that we're not gonna hear about it again until training camp starts, or like midway through training camp, and we'll be like, where's DeAndre Hopkins gonna go now? He's gonna go somewhere. I don't think he can not play this year.
No, there's just no rush to get him signed right now. I mean, not until you get really into minicamp.
Well, even then, for him as a vet, he could. I mean, he's probably not concerned about holding out till like a week or two before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go through training camp. Cool, guys. I'll even miss the first game. So, Deion Sanders had a successful emergency surgery last Friday to remove blood clots in his leg. I think more specifically, they said groin area. Is now recovering. Presumably, was released on Sunday. I haven't heard of any negative news and complications, but again, another scare for Deion.
Yeah, he's had issues with this.
Yeah, this is he's missing 2 toes, I think. And
Yeah.
he was still having numbness and apparently the blood clots. So Alex, what's this like the seriousness of having blood clots in your leg and what that could do for your body?
So if it's an acute arterial clot, it's very serious. I mean, that's what we call a cold leg, and it's like a surgical emergency. Like you need to go to the OR right now. Because especially if it's
You're gonna die.
well, not die, but it's not necessarily life threatening, but limb threatening. So we had a case one time where this guy it was more of an aneurysm, but it caused clotting behind his knee and his popliteal artery, and basically your leg from the knee down is dead until we revascularize it. So dead tissue can only be dead so long, and then when you give it blood flow, that doesn't necessarily mean that some of the distal tissue is going to come back. There is a point where it becomes irreversible damage. You also get into the complications of like compartment syndrome and things like that, but that's a long conversation. But yeah, it is really serious, and emergency surgery it's definitely emergency surgery. He probably had him up in his like femoral, maybe iliac, if it was up near his groin. But it sounds like he needs to be on blood thinners for the rest of his life if he isn't already, or that he
Pretty
has
sure
a
he is.
yeah, and if you're getting them on blood thinners, you need to really assess why you have this clotting disorder, which I'm sure he has the best doctors in the world working on it. But it's actually very, very urgent.
Right. Dion did say he wanted to have the surgery, so I don't know how if it was an emergency or if he was putting the emphasis on getting it done quickly because he wants to do everything he can to be ready for the team to go into the season. So I don't know if it was truly emergency or if he's like, well, we're going to do as quick as we can. Let's get this scheduled.
Yeah,
I think
I
there
mean,
was downplaying of it. I think it was definitely an emergency, and he was trying to save face for recruits.
Okay.
it's the same exact concept as a blood clot anywhere else. So blood clot to your brain is a stroke, a blood clot to your heart is a heart attack. This is just a blood clot to an artery that's not your heart or brain. So, but you still have tissue dying. It's all the same theory.
What happened to Dr. Gregory House, Alex?
Yeah, I haven't watched all of House to be honest. I've just got bits and pieces. So
Yeah, so you don't know.
no.
I forget. I think he said he had an infarction in his leg.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like there you go.
Okay. I didn't get it. He's got issues with his leg. LSU has vacated 37 wins from 2012 to 2015, and Les Miles is now ineligible for the College Football Hall of Fame because former offensive lineman Vidal Alexander was ineligible for the entirety of his collegiate career. How this is the thing that dooms LSU. There's other things involved in this as well. Well, there's other pieces to this, which include money. But how this is the one that gets them after everything else that potentially was going on, especially when Go Tigers was there. I don't know. But they actually self-imposed a penalty in 2022, but it's now official. Alexander was deemed ineligible because his father received about 180 grand in embezzled funds from John Paul Foons, former head of a foundation. Foons pled guilty to embezzlement charges in 2019 after being accused of misusing nearly 800 grand from the hospital system's fundraising system. So pretty much they were just filtering money to the guy's father to help the kid.
Remember that time Ohio State was roughed up for tattoos? Y'all remember that?
Getting rid
I'm
of
aware.
pants. Getting rid of their pants.
They sold their own shit and bargained for tats. Remember that? Killed a freaking dynasty.
Did it?
I think that
All
might
right,
be
all right, you're right. You know what? I will dramatically. I that was dramatics with the
It
It
word
was
dynasty.
slightly.
They killed a good thing.
Terrell Pryor wasn't your dynasty quarterback.
Yeah.
Killed Jim Trustle's career
Yeah, that's true.
over some tats and some trinkets.
Well, Jim Tressel came out pretty good on the other side, I think, in his career.
I think becoming the president of Youngstown is not necessarily the highlight of where he could have been.
I bet there's more job security there, though. You just have to worry about beating Michigan every year.
But LSU should probably be touching the death penalty.
Really? At this point now, can we say that? This is money, Jim. We all know that money, who cares about money? This is just NIL now. That's this now. Granted, where the money came from is still up for debate. I mean, if it's embezzled,
If we're
there's
not
issues
going to flirt with the death penalty in this situation, then give Les Miles his Hall of Fame eligibility back. You
there. I don't
can't have
disagree.
it.
I don't disagree.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Wait, what are you saying?
If we're not going to look at the death penalty and if we're going to go back and hurt Les Miles for his Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
then we should also go back and hold the program to the standards in which we're taking the Hall of Fame from the guy.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's shift. We're going to come back to this because there's a little bit more to talk about suspension or probation and all of that. Penny Hardaway just got suspended 2 or 3 games for Memphis basketball because he had too many in-person visits with a recruit.
That's what I mean. We
Like-
talked about this last week about how stupid the NCAA still is, and how now they want Congress to come in and interject,
Right?
because they still can't get it right. And this is more further proof that they are just giant fuck ups.
Listen, Penny Hardaway's getting 2 or 3 games because he had too many in-person visits, and he wasn't offering the kid $2 million. I think that's a positive thing, that he's visiting the potential student athlete more,
Listen,
and not saying, "Here's a briefcase full of money, buddy."
I'm running on very little sleep, and I'm very tired, but I'm gonna come real guns hot. If I'm Penny Hardaway, I am filing some kind of lawsuit for harassment against the NCAA, because I truly think that is an institution gunning for an individual. How much shit has Penny Hardaway caught from the NCAA in
Since he
his
started.
lifetime?
Yeah.
And it's like the NCAA opens themselves up to this kind of bullshit for the way that they just don't manage a league right, or an institution right. Either be consistent, even though it's really bad decision making, like continue to be bad decision making. Quit trying to have it 2 different ways. Like if they came out and said death penalty for LSU, I would give them like a standing round of applause, because it would make sense. You're being consistent. Or just leave them alone.
Instead, they're going to wait for, too many condiments at the bagel bar.
Right. They're gonna, hey, Congress, will you help us out with this? Stupid.
LSU football is currently on probation due to recruiting violations committed by a former offensive line coach. The program will be under probation for 3 more years, starting in September, due to the NCAA's Independent Accountability Resolution Panel ruling. And all IRAP decisions are final, guys. You cannot do anything after the independent investigators come in.
That they pay.
Exactly.
They're independent, but they need to get paid. Remember.
From the nonprofit.
Okay.
Got a lot of doom and gloom in football world. EA Sports has been hit with a lawsuit over the college football video game.
I can't believe you're expanding on this. Like you need to stop. This is your fault.
Why is this my fault?
Because if you keep bringing it up, the game's not going to happen. And I will make
I've
you.
said
Taylor
I'm
Swift
the
in this
one
game.
that blew this up as a bigger issue. And everybody's like, "Nah,
I know. Stop talking about it."
I did hear today it is still definitely in plans that it will be in 2020.
Right. So tell Muff, stop talking about it. The more you bring light to this, you're killing our chances.
They just need all to get on the same page.
Sports
stop
Secretary
talking about
Muff
it.
single-handedly
Figure it the
burnt
F out.
down.
You will be Taylor Swift for this game.
I cannot be. This has already been set. I'm just merely talking about it.
Mark my words. If they delay this game again, I'm blaming you.
You're blaming me.
Yep.
These are people that are going back on their word in the contracts, Jim. That's all I'm saying.
No, they're not. They just aren't giving the players enough money. They're being capitalists.
Well, the Miranda Group, that's what this comes down to, is saying that it must be able to negotiate on behalf of the athletes at schools for which it has contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Other people have tried to get these, and they're saying there's interference with the 2 groups trying to represent schools and athletes at the same time. They just need to all get on the same page, figure it out, get the kids more money, be done with it.
Muff, do you see how you still got more talking about this in? Stop it.
I mean,
Nate,
do you want
to
to
play
go to...
Muff or Nate? Do you want to play NCAA?
Of course.
And tell Muff to shut up.
You want to go to basketball, Jim? You want to talk about basketball? You want to talk about the EA Sports?
If that means you'll stop talking about this, yes.
Move.
I don't want you to ruin it.
Along. Actually, you know what, Jim? Let's do the helmets.
All right.
On the other side, get to the helmets.
All right, it's time for this week's tournament round. We are doing the SEC East Helmet Championship. We have 8 teams in this because I've thrown in Texas to this side.
Ooh.
Sorry, Alex. I've already made the shift. Texas is in
Yeah,
the
even though
SEC.
it's not a real thing yet.
It's real.
You're jumping the gun.
It's as
You
real as
think they're
Bob
gonna
Huggins,
stay?
Jim, Alex.
You're jumping the gun. That's all I'm saying.
Are you contending that Texas will not make it to the SEC?
No, I'm not contending. I'm just saying you're jumping the gun. It's
All
not.
right, so we'll continue to since you're a denier. We're gonna start at the bottom,
You're an anti-truther, Alex.
right?
It's not a thing yet.
We have Texas against Missouri.
The bottom of the bracket, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, for this one, I got to go horns up.
Ugh. Nate,
Muff.
please.
Horns always go down. Mizzou's helmet, the black with the can't remember if it's gold or if it's yellow, where it kind of blends in. Not the one in this picture here, but they have another helmet that's sweet looking.
I agree. And to Alex.
Even though I don't think it should be in this category, I will go with the Longhorns.
We have a tie, our first tie, because I'm going with Nate.
Light side or non-light side?
I'm gonna let Nate call it.
All right. Since Texas's helmet's light, we'll go Texas is the light side.
Texas is the light. It's light.
Yeah.
It's literally a light. The light. Out on
Texas wins.
Texas wins.
All right.
At least they get a win here, as they won't get many in the SEC.
Amen. Amen. All right, so I'm gonna go back up to the top. Georgia.
You just wanted Texas to lose right off the bat, and they didn't.
I really did. They didn't. That's disappointing. So, Georgia versus Florida. Georgia has a hell of a blackout.
So we're bouncing all over this thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Back
Georgia
to the top.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Florida, and for some reason I can't get like Tim Tebow wearing the helmet out of my head, and that just seems iconic to me.
Is it the blue one that you're thinking of?
I believe it's the blue one, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I like
I'm
that
going
one
with
too.
Florida.
Nate,
I'm going with Florida. Georgia doesn't ever wear anything other than that red helmet.
the blackout one though.
I like the blackout one. They never wear it.
I can always count on Nate to like the blackout ones with me. So, all right, Tennessee versus Vandy.
Then C.
Again, the blackout one.
Yeah.
I love Tennessee's blackout one.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Me too. Sorry, Nate.
I was going to go clean sweep there anyway.
I didn't see Nate
Horns
deviating.
Okay. And what I think is the highlight of the first round, South Carolina versus Kentucky.
This is like an 8-9 or a 12-5 matchup. What do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a yes or no question, but yeah.
I just think these are the two best helmets of the first
I firmly go with South Carolina.
See, doesn't Kentucky have a alternate helmet that's like a really odd blue color?
Like, isn't it like the blue and
It's
white
like
checker?
shiny.
They have a flat blue one.
Okay. I mean, I think South Carolina still wins it for me, but I do like some of that Kentucky's alternates, but not more than South Carolina's. I think South Carolina just has a cool brand as far as their colors.
So Muff said South Carolina. Alex, did you pick one?
I said South Carolina.
So there's two. Nate, where you at, buddy?
Give me the cock.
Give you a cock.
Can we clip that?
There's a reason why I said that.
Can we use that as a soundbite from now on?
Give him the
I
cock.
don't know where that comes in, but
We'll
yeah,
find
we
a
can
spot.
we can find a reason to use it. That's for
We'll
sure.
find a reason to reuse that.
All
Clip it.
right. We're going to go up to the top. Gators versus Tennessee. Ooh, this is tough. This is tough, boys.
I think I'm going with Gator Chomp.
Uh-oh.
Give me Rocky Top.
Uh-oh. Nate,
Florida.
I'm going with Tennessee.
Uh-oh.
Flip
Flip
it.
a coin.
Alex, pick it. Which one's the light? Which one's the light side?
Florida.
Where's the light side? Not the light side.
Oh,
Tennessee
fuck.
moves on.
Yes.
This reminds me of like playing bingo. Like you can't play harder when you flip the light.
Right,
So,
right.
that's why I can't play bingo because I'm too competitive, and you can't
All
bingo
right.
harder.
You
All right.
can't make bingo
South
better
Carolina versus Texas.
South Carolina.
Throws up the horns.
Horns down.
Give me the cock.
Yeah, I'll go with the cock.
I'll go with the
Texas was not going to make it to the finals. There's no freaking way.
They're used to it.
Yeah. Okay. In the final showdown, Tennessee, South Carolina.
I have to go with the traditional Tennessee helmet on this one. I'm sorry. Others may disagree, but
I feel like this is going to be tough. Nate, I'm going to let you pick next.
South Carolina, I'd like the logo on the helmet better than a plain old T.
Good decision making. Alex, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
being the cock.
Two cocks. It's going to come down to the blackout for me. Going with the cock.
Woo! Cock wins.
Cock wins. And the winner of the SEC East Helmet Challenge, the CAC.
Now at the end, are we going to put all of the conference winners?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All of the winners will be in a final tournament.
You get the ultimate helmet.
are we gonna do like the Mountain West? Are we gonna do?
I mean, we got time. It's the summer.
I mean, are we going to do Conference USA, the American?
The AA?
We might.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
What about the Sun Belt?
Ooh,
Guys.
we
Let's
have to.
get
We
the
have
other
to do
ones
the
first.
Chanticleers, Jim. We have to have a Coastal Carolina bracket.
All right.
Guys,
that's
my cousin is going to Coastal Carolina. I'm going to have a Chanticleer in my family.
fine.
All the
Ooh,
reason
good stuff.
that we can say we're a Coastal Carolina podcast.
Make
It's
it
Aunt
fair.
Lisa's daughter.
Oh,
I've been on
even
their
better.
campus
Lisa and Uncle
once.
Rick.
What?
Sam and I had been on their campus once when we were leaving Myrtle Beach one year. It was like right after they won the College World Series. And I got to peek in their football stadium, and that like teal blue turf they have is one ugly looking color.
My favorite color.
It doesn't make a good football color for turf.
We have the SEC West next week with the addition of Oklahoma. We have the three champions so far: Oregon, Miami, South Carolina. Okay,
We still needed the Big 10,
and the Big 12.
the Big 12,
So
and
we
then
got
whatever
3
other
more weeks.
conferences. We just have to have an even number going into the championship round, right?
Yeah,
We don't need. There's no buys in championship round.
no,
You got to earn
no,
it.
no. Yeah. So we got some weeks. We could do this outright if we want to.
All right. So tune in next week for the SEC West plus Oklahoma.
Plus Oklahoma.
And on the other side of the SEC
Thank God I
East
heard
helmet
recording in
battle,
progress. Thank God.
Jim almost just took the off-air conversation and brought it to the limelight once. Just once.
Good job, Jim.
Thumbs up. All right, Nate, you had, before we get out of football world, you had some Antonio Brown update for the world?
Yeah, so the clown that can never stay out of the news anymore. So I saw this today from Jeff Kleiman on Twitter. Says update: Antonio Brown is being sued by his former Arena League football players and coaches after he pulled money from their bank accounts. Before Antonio Brown got the Albany Empire kicked out of the National Arena League, he paid his players and coaches on their last game on June 15th. Empire head coach Mo Leggett said team members were paid last Thursday and Friday for their game against Orlando, but a member of the group chat on Wednesday night posted a screenshot of the bank account reversal. When the coach checked his bank account the next morning, his paycheck had also been deducted. Now members of the team are planning a class action lawsuit against Brown.
Ugh.
Antonio Brown, he just can't keep himself away from screwing things up. I
So
mean,
I don't
how
wanna
much
get-
longer was left of the season?
I think it was over.
Okay, it had ended. That's what I wasn't sure about. So this is their last check bounced. This is pretty much what this comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to defend the man,
But
I'm gonna need more facts. Like my outside of podcasting career instantly says I need more details to what happened. I'm not gonna fully hit Antonio with a bus.
what things could happen to make this less of an issue, or at least less controversial as to the why, Jim?
Because like in order
Speaking
for
in
that,
layman's terms.
in order for that to be reversed, there has to be like guidelines to be triggered.
Okay.
So was he paying them in the rears? Was he behind on his pay to begin with? Or was this money that was like not necessarily owed? Like, was it just player specific? Like, I need more facts. Like, if the whole team cooperates, like, yep, we were owed in the rears and this man just took it all back. Okay. Or if this was one of those, like, this individual might have been overpaid and he took one of those back and spoke with his bank to do so. Yeah, it looks bad. It looks bad on Antonio Brown because that's easy to make Antonio look bad.
Right.
I trust nothing that Antonio Brown says.
And that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like,
He has proved time and time again that he is not a trustworthy person.
I agree. That's why, but I'm also not going to sit here doing what I do and go, yeah, that he screwed up. It takes an institution to take money back, and they would fully vet the reason first.
Okay. I think Antonio Brown's just being a big old D-bag.
Yeah, I'm with Jim. I'm with Muff. I
Which he
appreciate
could
that
be.
you're trying to see the other side of the coin, Jim, but I think we all know Antonio Brown did some sketchy shit.
And that could be. I'm not going to negate that. But I'm just saying he's not the one sending payroll out alone. He's not the payroll company.
He is the bank, though.
He's the man pushing the button.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Moving along to the NBA. Victor Wembanyama becomes the number 1 overall draft pick last week, finally making it official. Everyone knew this was coming. This was the Wembanyama sweepstakes, playing in San Antonio under Greg Popovich. Wembanyama, he had like his first shoot around, and people were not impressed.
So here's okay. This is a not philosophical necessarily, but theoretical question.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we get a guy like this, right, he's an ex LeBron James, he's the next LeBron James for sure. So we immediately, upon his arrival to the NBA, put LeBron James type expectations on this kid.
I don't have any expectations he's LeBron James unless he fell down 3 times.
He can't. Yeah. Okay. So
he's like 7'5", Jim. That's a long way to go.
But do we set him up for failure? So are we unimpressed where he would be if we didn't say stuff like that and he came in and had a good season? We'd be like, wow, that's a really good rookie. But if he doesn't live up to the LeBron James rookie type caliber of play, he's a disappointment because we've put this on him. I think we unfairly judge people sometimes.
This is an NBA thing. Above all, the NBA has this, NHL has this.
Yeah.
Like, key in on this one person who's going to help further the sport. Like,
but instead of just letting him have a good basketball career,
when you're number 1, heavy is the head.
Yeah,
I mean that's how it goes. And this is an anticipated. He's been like anticipated number 1 for years. People were expecting this. Played overseas in France. There's actually some discussion I've heard in some other podcasts where they're like, hey, American basketball needs to figure it out because the players that are coming in from abroad are not only better prepared to step into the limelight and to step into the game, but they're not causing issues for themselves when they get in the limelight either. They're like,
that's a whole nother sociological
right. It's like Nikola Jokic, right? Like, that man's not in the news for anything aside from Jim. Was Nikola Jokic in the news for?
Wanting to go home.
He no want to be at parade.
Have you had a hit called out on yet, Jim? You good? We good?
I am still okay. I watched some of our YouTube shorts and part of the podcast, and I made myself nervous. I was like, damn, I really screwed up.
Well, I may put that in an order that made you seem more nervous about it, but
yes, I still.
We'll see. Maybe one day we'll be big and people can look back on that and laugh.
I hope so.
The real discussion, and I agree with Alex, there's a lot of pressure put on number one picks, but especially in these more individual sports. You see pressure on the NFL and number one draft picks. They want them to be the savior of the franchise. But when they don't pan out, they usually just kind of fade away in obscurity. NBA, I feel like you hear about them as the biggest bust. So, but the real discussion came at the number 2 spot, where they were wondering who the Charlotte Hornets were going to take in Michael Jordan's last draft, because he was still overseeing the team and pushing the button on who would be picked. Most assumed it was going to be Brandon Miller. Yes, that Brandon Miller from Alabama, who had some tertiary involvement with the pew-pews, Jim.
Tertiary involvement, bro.
He just got drafted number 2, and there's no charges pending, Jim.
Tertiary Muff.
What word are you going to use, Jim? Was he involved? Not tertiary? He was involved?
Yeah, he had himself in a precarious situation.
Okay.
Got himself in a precarious situation.
Tertiary is leaving a lot more doubt.
But then Shams Charania appeared on the Pat McAfee show the day of the draft and shared that he had reliable sources saying that Scoot Henderson was gaining traction and may be the likely number 2 selection, causing the sports books literally to shut down to flip their odds during the Pat McAfee show while this is going on, where Scoot Henderson became a minus 900 favorite and Miller went to plus 700, and he had been, I think, like a minus 200 or 300 favorite, and Miller was minus 200 or 300 favorite, and then Scoot Henderson was like a plus 300 at that pick. Then Brandon Miller was picked, and Henderson went number 3 to the Blazers. But that was, I think, a lot of either misinformation shared to a member of the media to push out into a major show. It shows how much people listen and then take those people's opinions to heart when you can flip a sports book that quickly. Good discussion, guys. Glad we could have a conversation about this.
I don't even want to talk about that. Like, I don't think it's. I think it's a ruse.
It's all just smoke and mirrors. The conversation.
Doesn't Pat McAfee have some tie to a sports book?
FanDuel.
FanDuel.
Jeff,
So,
we're
like,
FanDuel show, of course.
Doesn't that cause some conflict of interest to you?
I get what you're coming from, but the person who's feeding the information is not the person that has the tie to the sports book.
It just feels sticky to me.
I mean, I get it. But they were not presenting the information. There was an NBA insider who was presenting it. So
The same guys that kick it with Pat. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to get down. We have a lot to talk about, but I'm not really cool with Pat McAfee bringing on these insiders like Shefty and all of this. And he's kind of playing some inside baseball. And the betting world is starting to be a little more dirty to me with these connections.
well, I think these things have always happened. It's just where is it being pushed? Instead of seeing an article where Shams Charania could be like, I think this is going to happen. Now it's on like a major outlet live, and the betting, you could more easily bet on it. Like, I think these things have always happened. It's now that there are consequences potentially to people's pocketbooks in a major way.
Okay, Muff.
Fun note is that the Twins were drafted number 4 and 5 as Amon and Asar Thompson went number 4 and 5 to the Rockets and the Pistons. That's pretty cool. Twins to go 4 and 5 in a draft.
Yeah.
Of note, Jim, Ohio State had 1 pick in the first 2 rounds, with Bryce Sensabaugh going to the Jazz with the 28th pick in the first round. Penn State had 2 draft picks, Jalen Pickett and Seth Lundy, both going in the second round. Alex, unfortunately, no WVU players were taken in the draft.
Typical.
WVU typically has something that happens. Maybe not drafted, but they usually end up on a roster, maybe.
You know what I think is very interesting about this podcast that we record?
What?
Nate's gate free with all college football rivalry. He has no team, or at least he doesn't like brag about one. He just gets to walk free and clear of all the shit talking.
I feel like deep down he's a WV fan and just doesn't embrace any of the shit with me.
No, I am a WVU fan, but just like the whole thing with the Pirates, it's like you know what to expect. You get the highs, you get the lows, so you just got to stay middle of the road.
But like nobody ever busts on him. Nope. Like I don't come at Nate.
Well, one day Nate's going to be, a famous official, and he can't have in the background that he was ever a fan of a
He
team.
can't have
whenever
fandom.
Can't have
That's
fandom.
fair.
He can just give us all the things, and we can bet on it, right, Nate? Right?
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, once I get the scripts.
That's it.
Once the script's coded. Yep.
Nate's just giving us a script. He's not doing anything. He's just following the script, right?
Right.
Nate's not making any calls because we want him to. He's just doing what he's told. Something interesting I found is that the Phoenix Suns have 0 draft picks until 2030 right now, which just shows how much the draft doesn't matter in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right? They'll probably trade and they'll get picked somewhere along the line, but you don't even have to have draft picks
No.
to build a team.
Well, no, especially when you
No.
only have rounds.
Yeah. There's only those 2 rounds. And then they start signing people. So, and the trades and everything and how that goes, it's crazy right now. There was a trade. After the initial trade of Chris Paul to the Wizards, the Warriors then sweep in and trade for Paul, and the Wizards get Jordan Poole and others. Poole will now leave the Warriors, and maybe this will help the whole Draymond stick around the Warriors because that's the person that Draymond punched last year in training camp.
I couldn't imagine words about Draymond.
Yeah. I think this helps Draymond wanting to come back, and always say I think Chris Paul, Draymond Green, that seems like a good fit
Mm-hmm.
for them to be together. The Celtics and Grizzlies also made a swap that included Marcus Smart going to Memphis and Kristaps Porzingis heading up to Boston. Aye.
Shipping up to Boston. Whoa.
Whoa.
This pairs up the last 2 defensive player of the winners in Memphis, with Smart joining Jaren Jackson Jr., and maybe Smart will add a layer of support for John Morant in Memphis.
After suspension.
Are you guys familiar with HBO Max? That's now Max.
I know
Yeah.
the Switch. I don't watch. I don't have that streaming service, but
Muff, I'm gonna let you jump in on mine.
Can't say that. Put you down.
They'll shut me down. It's cool, but there's a show on there, a series, Winning Time: The Rise of the Laker Dynasty.
Mhm.
And it's about Magic Johnson, and really, it's more about Jerry Buss
Mhm.
that you should watch. Because if you want to talk about basketball, like, and how business was done, I'm about that life. Basketball should go back to that. Like how Showtime and the whole thought process. And you think about like these players being traded and money and pairing up and all that. It wasn't about that back in the day.
No.
I like that.
You wanted to put the team on the map.
Yeah.
You want to put yourself on the map.
Yeah.
But the money behind these contracts is now what's crazy, right? You stay at a team because then you can supermax your contract and get hundreds of millions of dollars by staying with the team.
Yeah.
So
everybody should watch that.
Yeah. And the opposite of millions and millions of dollars, Slam Ball is going to be making its way back to network television, this time on ESPN, as they signed a 2-year media deal to begin July 21st, with the season ending in late August. This takes me back to my Spike TV days, the original airing of
McAfee
the
will be an
sport.
announcer, I'm sure.
I don't know about that. I think he'd go back to WWE before he did this.
I don't know. He's an ESPN boy now.
It's true. He is starting August, September, I forget which. But really, I'm just curious if they're going to change the game at all. Is it still going to be?
You would think, man.
There's too many people that were just having ankles dangling off their legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So slam ball, for anybody that does not know, is trampoline basketball. The trampolines are situated around the hoop.
I just Googled pictures of it because I knew it was trampoline basketball, but I don't really remember it. It's like 4 big rectangle areas of trampoline.
Like
Yeah, it's
inside
all
the
basically
3-point line.
trying to
The
all
pictures
basically
above the rim are
time
really
it.
cool.
What's that, Nate?
Basically all you got to do is just time it up to see, okay, to the guy who's basically like the goalie for the team, can you out jump him or jump him whenever he's going down or whatever? See who can be the bigger piece of poster board.
That's it. That is it. I know I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna at least watch a little bit of it.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year media deal. They're giving themselves 2 years to see if it can make a splash.
I still contend that the movie basketball
Mm-hmm.
should actually become a sport. Should still be a thing.
Be on Comedy Central, right?
I'm about that life.
Comedy Central could make that happen. South Park.
Like I'm so much into basketball that I think the podcast should probably have like a basketball outing charity.
I'm not against it.
I'm for it.
It would be so cool.
You gotta really research those rules a little bit.
I don't put it past me.
I'm sure you can easily Google it and then you can find the rules for basketball. It's been around.
I'll watch the movie. I'll do all the recon.
Okay.
I'll watch the movie.
I'll watch the movie too.
Yeah.
Alex, have you watched that movie ever?
No, I have not.
Oh,
Add that to the list.
in
All
fact,
right.
We're in
do that
summer
by
now,
next
Alex.
week.
You need to pick a movie and go with it now. Is it gonna
Now
be
you need to
baseball?
watch that by next week.
Basketball.
Basketball
Okay.
is Alex's next week project.
Got it.
Mhm.
We're playing basketball.
No. Too humble beginnings to have that type of fanfare.
Got it.
In other interesting news in the sports world, the College Baseball World Series has been fun to watch, especially for the latter part of last week and into this past weekend, as LSU won an all-time matchup last Thursday in a pitcher's duel, ended up in extra innings, and the Tigers win 2-0 on a walk-off 2-run home run in the 11th inning over Wake Forest. Brought LSU to the championship series against Florida. LSU wins game 1. Florida blows the Mountain game 2 and game 3. Nate, what do we have going on?
Right now we've got LSU up 10-2 in the top of the 7th.
Go Tigers. Has Skeens been out there yet?
They showed him in the bullpen just here a little bit ago. So if anything, I think he's gonna come in and close unnecessarily just to say he's pitching a national championship game.
Jim, of note for you is that LSU has apparently drank Omaha dry. There have been, I guess, drink specials in Omaha. There have been Jello shots? Is that right, Nate? Am I remembering that? There's a Jello shot for LSU for the
at a certain
Tigers.
bar, and they have a like a leaderboard up there. However many they order, they put it like a tally up there.
And it's been an issue. Them fans like to drink, Jim.
It's baseball. I don't not that big of a whatever.
Don't care.
No.
All right, NHL has decided their Hall of Fame inductees for the class of 2023, and they include Tom Barrasso of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who helped save the city of Pittsburgh and maybe the world in the movie Sudden Death, alongside Jean-Claude Van Damme, among others. I think there were 2 other goalies, a couple position players, and a couple, I think they call them like builders of the sport, like coaches, GMs, and stuff like that. But Tommy Barrasso, Alex.
Let's go, Pens.
Have you ever seen the movie Sudden Death, Alex?
Mm-mm.
Oh, Alex.
It takes place in the igloo.
I know, like that. What the movie is? We're working on it. We're working on my movie-ish.
I'm not gonna say Sudden Death. Sudden Death is more of like a cult classic. It's not like everybody's seen it.
Let's get through basketball. Then we'll talk.
Baseball's all basically. I feel like everything we've given you is cult classic type stuff.
Yes.
I don't think we've given you, Jim. We given a mainstream classic.
No.
Oh, these are all cult classics.
Yes.
Okay. Fair. Adam Sandler has competition as Ball State has signed high school golfer Happy Gilmore to play on their team. Adam Sandler did respond on Twitter whenever Ball State or Happy Gilmore stated he was accepting an offer to play at Ball State. He said, "Go get him, Happy. I'm pulling for you."
Yeah, at first I thought this was just a hoax, and then it's like, nope, that is legit this kid's name.
His name is Happy Gilmore. Is Jim as father? Is that one of those things that like you're proud of that you did, or do you look on it later and you're like, I should never have done this?
I think it depends on what the child does. Like in this situation, totally okay with it.
Because
They're gonna go on to play golf.
okay,
I think would have been more hysterical had this kid gone on to get a hockey scholarship.
yes, I agree.
Yeah, even better.
You succeeded where I could never have succeeded. Good job, Happy. And played for Boston or something. That would have been even better. It's just funny, right? This only happens in.
Well, that brings up another question I have for Jim. If you got
Yes.
to name your one of your current daughters, or if you had another child down the road, after any fictional character, what would you pick if you had any opportunity? And Joe said, "Absolutely, Jim. You can use that name.
Daughters?
Either.
Daughters or son doesn't matter."
Well, first off, if I could have sons, right? Bruce Wayne is definitely number one. Number one.
Bruce Wayne Constant.
Absolutely. Number two, if I had a second son, would probably be Dick Grayson. Robin. So I'd have Batman and Robin. For sure.
How about a daughter?
Daughters, that's tough. Fictional characters, I don't know. I'd have to think
What
real
was
hard
Wonder
about
Woman's
that.
real name?
Diana? No, I don't like. No, I can't do that. That's too much. I don't know. That's hard. Like, because I have daughters and I know their personalities, so like
Right.
they fit their personalities. I don't know. That's hard. Oh, like Tasmanian Devil is already taken. I don't know.
I wonder which one of your kids you name that.
I would name my youngest.
Well, then she is named after a fictional character. Go.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't know what I would name my daughters. Honestly, I don't know. I'd think about that.
Okay. Another time.
I'll get back to you on that one.
And lastly, in the tennis world, Nastia Kolar and Alexandra Riley are banned from tennis for life as part of a match fixing case. Kolar, who's from Slovenia, was fined 175 grand, and Riley from America was fined 50 grand for their respective match fixing offenses, which amassed to a combined 40 instances from 2015 to 2020.
What happened?
That
Like,
is 5 years. Now, neither were like at the top of the top. So they were, in the bottom of the ranks, were probably not making a lot of money. And I'm sure this was a way for them to supplement their income. Apparently 4 of matches against each other, they conspired together in the match fixing situation. And a majority of Riley's offenses were tied to individual points in games and not necessarily the outcome of the match itself.
Oh, Merida. Merida would be from the Brave Princess.
well, that's a good one.
That's one for sure because it's the redheaded Disney princess. Sorry,
Yeah.
Muff. I couldn't think of the name.
Merida,
Merida.
like shit.
MER Merida.
What's shit in Spanish?
I don't Muff.
Merida.
Jesus, Muff. God,
M-E-R-D-E?
it's the Disney
Maybe
princess.
that's French.
God, good bless. And then probably like a Star Wars, like Princess Leia. I'm a nerd.
Leia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And my youngest would probably be Merida. Doesn't listen to anybody. So yeah.
All right. That brings us to the end of this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. As always, you can follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportsstuff.com/Jim, or Sam Muff on
What,
Facebook,
Sam?
on YouTube.
I just have something I wanted to say.
Well, say it.
Oh no.
I didn't
Only
want
had
to
an hour and a half.
I didn't want to interrupt. It wasn't
Didn't stop you last week.
good.
What you want?
I crinkled enough paper last week. So I did a bachelorette party this weekend in Sarasota. And the house that we were staying at is my best friend's like second cousin's house because her son goes to IMG. So they bought a house in Bradenton just to send him there.
Jim's lost.
IMG Academy, it's in Bradenton. A lot of people go there for sports.
Uh-huh.
It's like where the Williams sisters went, I think.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So she's originally from Charleston, and her son went to these camps like for years and then decided that he wanted to go there for high school. So they moved to Bradenton. So they're like right across from campus. And we like kind of drove past like all the entrances because you're not allowed on the campus unless you have like a kid that goes there. It is sweet.
I always expected it would be. I've never
Like,
even ever be there.
It's beautiful. And then we went to dinner with her and she was just telling us like his sports schedule and stuff. Like it's pretty intense. But he wants
They play sports, not school there.
Well, no, it's very academic focused too. So
so it's not for
no,
Wink.
it really
Wink.
So he goes to practice from like 7 to noon and then has class from like 1 to 5:30 or something.
What sport did you say you played?
He plays baseball.
Hmm.
But he wants to go to an Ivy League school, so this was like his best option for like academics plus sports. I don't know. Pretty cool though.
That's pretty cool.
Did that
Yeah.
end with the bachelorette party? Listen to an episode of Sports Stuff with Jim Muff, and they all subscribe, rate, comment, review, poke like
See,
tickle.
that's what I was hoping for.
Yep, that's it.
Did you-
Don't think
Good
they
job.
subscribed. I've seen our subscriber. They
How
didn't
can you
go
go
up.
to a bachelorette party and not make sure that everyone subscribed?
That's your job.
Sorry, I talked about it all weekend.
That should be your only topic of conversation. in
It
life.
doesn't matter, right? It just matters about the podcast.
and listen to it all in the airport. What?
Well, next time I'll
Put a
take
speaker and
I'll
just sits in the
pass it
waiting terminal like this.
Yeah.
You mean on the back of the bachelorette party shirts weren't
Give me the cock.
codes not to donate to the not to donate to the bachelorette party, but to subscribe.
Here's that. What are they called? QR codes.
Yeah. Instead, yours went straight to the South Carolina Cox website.
Can you make a shirt with QR codes?
I could. Yeah. Very
It's-
possible.
Let's say what on the front? What would you want them to say on the front?
Sports stuff with Jim and Muff.
Okay, what do you want the slogan to be?
Give me the talk and has a QR code.
A rooster with a QR code on its head. Just so there's not confusion.
Yeah.
And that wraps up this week's
Thank you.
episode. Make sure that you tell a friend, make a friend, be
Be-
Brad.